Eugene Brown.
How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, this has gone great today. Um, for everybody that doesn't know, Eugene is my right-hand man. He's been here with me for 3 years, maybe a little over 3 years. Good Lord. We met through a mutual friend of mine who met Eugene and called me and was like, "Hey, you got to meet this guy," you know, and that's how we met.
Yeah, it's been a little while now, so time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, but we've come a long ways, haven't we?
We have, and we're almost at the finish line, and we'll call it the starting line. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, it is exciting times. And so um, let's just talk about you. Give everybody a little bit of your background, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll
Yeah,
kind of what.
married, got four wonderful children, and a lovely wife, Brandy. Make my home here in the Huntersville area. I've been in Charlotte for almost 30 years now. Graduated from the University of Tampa, former Army officer, go Army, and have a background in sales and finance and management for the last so many years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. And I do have to say this: I just got a text from Shana, and I had to come up this. We are officially over 1,000 likes on Facebook. All of a sudden,
right.
check it
Well, I
out.
like
We're growing right there on the day. Invite your friends to and people to like us on Facebook. That's really cool. Um, yeah. So you're a huge part of Convene. And so we'll talk about this a little bit because before we get to talking about Stone Eyed Capital, your community inside of Convene, but you wear many hats for Convene. And you're just like I said, you're not only a friend to me, but you're just a real big asset to what we're doing and our what we will be doing going forward. So just talk a little bit about the things you do for Convene.
well, I keep Matt in line for all the.
Which is hard.
I like to think I whisper in his ear in case he needs to hear like the raw truth about something. We certainly do a number of communities, the Christian community, the affiliate community, which will be up and running and growing strong here soon. And then I participate in helping, all of the moving pieces, whether it be Jason, Todd, Melinda, Shayna, Jeff, just Braden, just kind of giving my expertise to a particular area if I have it to give. Some areas I don't have to give. So
Yeah.
the overall planning, the direction I participate in for the last 3 years.
Yeah. And so, that affiliate program that's coming is going to be huge, and we've been building up to that. And really what that's going to be is as everybody that's being interviewed today is coming in to Convene, they're creating sellable content. Well, that sellable content, it will allow the affiliates to go out and sell your content for you. Will you manage that? That's one of your babies that will really take hold in the next 2021, that we will really grow that base out in 2021. And it's really going to be an important part. Sales, you're going to be doing a lot with our white labeled sites. We don't just do the Convene communities, we do white labeled sites, businesses. Boeing uses it currently as a white labeled site. So you'll have a big hand in that. And then as well as you do a lot with the Christian communities because of your faith and who you are and your belief system, which I love. That's really an important part of Convene to me. But then you have this community called Stone Eyed Capital. How did the world and where did this come from? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you have to kind of go back to childhood a little bit and some of the things that have happened over my life. My and let me back up and say money is not everything.
Yeah.
Let me get that out there to ensure people understand that. My mother died at age 58 about 16 years ago, and I watched her die. And the year before that, my little brother died at age 29. And one of the things my mother would always say, Matt, was she said, "Sweetheart, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything."
Yeah.
And that rings true to so many people. You see the environment we're in with COVID and the struggles that people go through, whether, Jody sharing some things or Wendy sharing some things from a physical standpoint, Lisa the same way. People go through a lot. So having your health and having your faith and having your family, those are the cornerstones of who I am as an individual. However, it is incredibly important for people to mitigate all of some of those health concerns or stress concerns if you have your finances in order. And what causes so many people to struggle in life, it's the money thing. You know, it leads to divorces, it leads to all kinds of crazy problems. So when I was a child, and I'm rambling a bit, my mother and father divorced. My father was a career 30-year Army man. And when they divorced and we lived with my mother, we struggled for a bit. And I was one of the only individuals that did not go on that trip in 5th grade or 6th grade to Washington, D.C. because we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And so I always said that money was not going to prevent me from doing things that I want to do in life. And it's taken me a while to get here, but finally I'm here.
Yeah. Well, and you and I, we've had all these talks, and there'll be more talks, and we'll really get into this as Convene grows and goes, and the stories of how everything behind this. But we all have a money story. I don't care who you are, you have a money story, right? You have that past, you have those highs, you have those lows. You know, Jason just talked about it in business. 1 month was good, 1 year was good, 1 year was bad. We all go through that in life, right? But if you get it in order, you put your head down and you work, you can do well. You can grow as a person and take care of your family, right? I mean,
Right.
I tell this story, and it's just it's choices, right? So I flew air medical, right? And I just tell the story because this is a true story. You can't make this up. I flew air medical, and as an air medical pilot, I made $30 an hour. Now I want everybody to break their calculator out real quick. $30 an hour. 1 year of air medical, I made $159,000 at $30 an hour. Now do that math. You don't do that unless you work 26 or so days a month. Now, at the time, there was a reason I was doing that because I needed to, but that came at a huge sacrifice, right? Because you can do well, you can work hard, and you know this because you've driven Uber and you made great money with Uber. But you only make great money with Uber if you're doing what?
Working a lot of hours typically.
Working a lot of hours, right? So it's the point that I'm getting at is that we all have a money story, and we've all could do different things with money, but you want to teach people how to do it differently, and that's what Stone Eyed Capital is all about.
Yeah, and let me say, Stone Eye, you know, just to further speak to my foundation, was born out of a principle in the Bible where I believe Jesus was talking to one of the disciples, and he said, or the Pharisees, it was talking about. He said, "Oh, you hypocrites," and he's pretty much said, first get the stone out of your own eye so that you can see clearly to get the speck out of your brother's eye. And I kind of took part of that. That's where you get stone eye, is to get your financial house in order. Because when you do that, myself, then I can see clearly to help Matt or, you know, the neighbor or some random person I haven't met. I can see clearly to help them find their way financially to where they're trying to get to. Again, money's not everything. I'll say it a million times, but it changes everything if you have it. Money's not everything, but it changes everything if you have it. Because I'll struggling and going through things and having to worry about, you know, can you pay the bills? Can you afford to take the family out, you know, to Olive Garden that cost $100? You know, getting people past that point to be able to have freedom to breathe, to have no debt, to be able to travel more, to go out on more dinners, to take more vacations, to buy a bigger house, to put your kids through college. It is critically important for people to develop other streams of income. For one, you know, Convene allows you to do that in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Whether you're a community leader or you're an affiliate and you're a premier user, but Stone Eye is going to allow people to begin to kind of take the mystery out of the stock market, because so many people believe that trading stocks is a difficult proposition when it's really not. This year, you guys, and I can probably click on this computer, this year, people are saying, the year is so bad. The years are what you make of it. Like if you guys know Jim Rohn, Rohn, God rest his soul, he would say you can pick any few years, 25 through 28, 40 through 43. It's when you decide that you're going to change your life, that's when life will change. And this year has been an amazing year. And some of you out there will say, well, how do we know that he's legit? And I won't go into the specific numbers, but I took Matt's laughing. I took $5,000, and I don't recommend you guys do this. I robbed Peter, which is the bill money, before the bills were due, took the money, and I invested in the stock market. And the only reason I had confidence enough to do that is because I used to work for the Vanguard Group, and I used to be a financial planner at Ameriprise. And I've had years of ups and downs in the stock market. So I've learned a lot, and it takes a lot, but it's easy to learn. But I went from $5,000 to being able to pay for at the end of the year a house that's going to almost be $1 million, where I'm going to write a check. I'm not going to finance it, no mortgage, no nothing. I really want to impress upon you guys, if you put your money in a mutual fund and they pay.
Let me stop you right there real quick. This dude is not lying. And I want to stress this. I've seen the account. I've watched this process. I've watched this $5,000 grow, and I've had Eugene explain to me in some way, not fully in depth, but he's talked to me enough about how he's been doing this, and I have seen it. This is for real. And I can't wait for this community, because he's documenting every single bit of this, everyone. And when I tell you, he's not BSing, this is for real. When he's saying he's going to pay cash for $1 million house, he's getting ready to pay cash for $1 million house. And that came from robbing Peter to pay Paul, starting with $5,000. And he has turned that money into enough money to be able to do that. Plus to still have more money to continue to invest in the stock market. And that's not a lie. That is the truth. I have witnessed every bit of it with my own eyes.
It is a very true story. And I look back and I can see that today I've earned almost $13,000, not like for the month, for the day, like today. And some people may not, make $13,000 in 3 or 4 months, so, but what I hope the group will do is to teach people how to do this, because I promise you it is not that difficult, but it takes some time to learn. It takes good balance. It takes patience. It takes understanding technical analysis. It takes understanding some things. So my hope is to share a lot of free content in about 4 different groups. And then for those that wish to have more hands-on, I want to do Zoom calls, one-on-one calls. I'm going to offer one-on-one training, group training. I'm going to have a main course where if you don't want to interact with me, you just want to pay for the course and it'll take you through it. And then I'll have, folks that'll be in a group that they can shadow me, if you will. I can say, Matt, here's exactly what I'm buying. The decision is theirs, because there are laws and there are regulations and a bunch of other things that have to be followed with the federal government and the state government. So if I can't personally take someone's money and invest it, unless, which this is going to happen, I go and become a registered investment advisor with the state of North Carolina and check a couple of boxes, take a couple of courses and be done with it. So anyway, the goal of the group is to help people help themselves. If it's a Wendy or Jody or whomever it may be that just needs more money and that's not their passion, but they can figure out, hey, I understand how to do this. And Eugene can help me do what I'm doing through one of his groups.
Yeah. And that's exciting to me. And because I think, again, I go back and we talk about why we're here. A lot of us are here, and the different communities and the different passions of people. I think, it's something that I have an interest in. I just don't understand it. And so your community is really going to allow people like me to go in there and learn from you. Um, and again, it does help when you see it, when you see it. And I mean, yeah, it's phenomenal, Eugene. What you've done is it's like a dream. I mean, honestly, it's just it's. And let me tell you this: you can say we all want to make money. I can see it in you. I can see it in just your health. I can see it in the stress when we talk, and because you don't have that worry that you had before. I'm just being honest with you. And with Convene, you're here and you're doing it because you love it and you want to be a part of it. It's just that yeah, I mean, we're going to do great things, and you're such a huge part of Convene. You always have been a huge part of the Convene team, and this is going to be a great community that's going to really, really flourish and do great things and help people out.
Yeah, guys, and I don't. And again, the only reason why I mentioned the number, and it probably surprised Matt to even mention it. So many times, you guys, people will say you're inundated with sales and commercials and magazines and people promising you the world, but they never show you the money. So in August, Matt and I were having a conversation, and I said, let me share my screen, because I want him to see the money, to tell him what's coming and what I'm excited about, and what is changing my life. And I honestly believe, you guys, if you just listen to me and I show you, here's how you do this. And it's going to take you a little bit time to learn, but it's not hard. And as soon as you get it, I promise you, your life is going to be dramatically changed. You can continue your passion, whether that's, you're passionate about children, or decluttering people's lives, or helping people, with military benefits, or whatever it is. But you've got to take care of your money, because the money frees you from everything. I mean, everything. And I wrote down a couple of quotes. It says, money can't make you happy. Well, then I would say, well, that probably comes from a person who's never had any money, right? Right? The money sure is making me happy, right? And one of the other quotes is money, again, money can't make you happy. Well, then I would say, well, then if you're going to be unhappy in life, have as much money as humanly possible,
Yeah.
right? So it changes things. And I hope to be able to teach a lot of people a lot of good things that will
Yeah.
help change their lives.
If you circle back around, that $159,000 that I made, I worked a lot of nights and stayed up a lot of nights, and I don't regret it. It was great, but man, that was a lot of stress, a lot of time flying, a lot of time away from my family. Not what I wanted to do forever. You don't. You showed it to me when you took that 5. You showed it to me one time, and I was just amazed because you showed it to me when there was 37,000 in there, and that's where you were at. That was the first time you showed it to me. And then
Was it?
we
Okay.
won't even talk about what it was the next time, but I'm just telling you. Well, we'll get to that at a later date because we're running up on our time. But yeah, you're doing great things, Eugene. I think it's everybody that knows about your community that's coming wants to be a part of that community. Who wouldn't? But it does take some learning. But you're so much more. I just want to say this before we jump over to Jamon. You're so much more to Convene than Stone Eyed Capital. You're one of the main people of Convene. You're one of the core team. Convene wouldn't be what it is without you. Shayna says it right here. Eugene is a beautiful soul, such a kind, intelligent, and sincere person, and you are. And you're one of my best friends in the world. You know that. Um, I cherish every time we get to talk and all that. And I do cherish those little whispers in my ear when you say, "Hey, we need to do this, Matt. What are you doing?" Yeah. So keep that up.
Freebies, Matt, freebies. If I don't know how the thing is going to go, but however, Shane is going to put something up. If someone wants some free consultations, want to talk a little bit about what's coming, maybe want to talk about the stock market, get some tips, I'll be happy to do some Zoom calls with some
Yeah.
folks.
Okay. So get in touch with Shayna. We'll be doing some of that. And again, this is going to be coming, guys. This community is going to be going and growing. So thank you so much, Eugene, for everything that you do.